Welcome back to JB Reviews. I've been doing a lot of videos on the 2023 Ford F350, and some of the ones I've seen with the long bed have over 4,700 pounds of payload. So with that being said, I'm sitting inside of a 2023 Alliance Valor. This is the 40 V13, so it has a 13-foot garage. This rig is like 45 feet long, triple axle. We're going to see if a Ford F350 single rear wheel can handle this weight. I'm not talking about any Ford F350 though. The ones that I've done reviews on had the 7.3 liter gas engine. And as I said, they had over 4,700 pounds of payload capacity. So I'm talking specifics here. So if you want to get a diesel, I don't know right now what the diesel payloads are going to be. Once those trucks make their way to the dealerships, I will be sure to do a review for you. So here's what you have to understand about these fifth wheels. When they build toy haulers, they expect people to use this garage for like a toy. So if you have a side-by-side or something like that, that's going to typically take weight off of the front. So they build these rigs heavier up front, which means they always have really heavy dry hitch weight. So this one here, if you go online, has a 3,000 pound dry hitch weight. So if you want to tow this rig with a single rear wheel truck, you're going to have to give up a lot of stuff, in my opinion. So let's start off, since we're already up front, let's talk about washer and dryer prep. So obviously this is a pretty special fifth wheel because they do provide washer and dryer prep up front and in the garage. If you want to put a washer and dryer up front and you want to tow this trailer with a single rear wheel truck, you're going to probably get really close on the numbers because this does add hitch weight. I've seen on some of the manufacturer websites that washer and dryer can add like 150 to 200 pounds of extra weight on your truck. Another thing you have to consider is this. If an RV you're looking at has an optional generator, you're going to probably have to skip that too, because this and washer and dryer prep are going to really increase the weight on the pinwheel. Another thing to consider too is if you want a bunch of solar, like this one I think has two 320 watt solar panels up top, 3,000 watt inverter, and you can get a pretty big battery bank up here. You're going to have to skip that too. You're going to also have to figure out where your freshwater tank is. This one has a 98 gallon freshwater tank, which means that's probably 800 to 900 pounds plus of additional weight. Now this is forward of the axles too, so this more than likely will put weight on the front of this trailer. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Something I like about Alliance is they do give you an option to add disc brakes. So if you want to tow this trailer with a single rear wheel truck, I recommend you get that option. Now you might be wondering, why in the heck do I have to do all of this work to tow a trailer? Well, there's two things I have to talk about here. When you look at a single rear wheel, they do not have the capacity that a dually has. If you want to tow a trailer this size, my recommendation is go dually. If you're going to be building a truck and you know you're going to be towing about a 20,000 pound trailer, go dually. The trucks that I'm recommending are single rear wheel, long bed F350s with gas engines. Again, I don't know what the diesels are going to have, but I'm sure they're going to really reduce the payload capacity compared to these trucks, because gas trucks have maximum payload compared to diesels. That's typically how I see it online. So with that being said, you have to upgrade your tires on your truck. Did you guys hear that? You have to upgrade the tires on your truck. You're going to need a minimum of 4,000 pounds of capacity. You know, because you don't have 4 tires out back, you only have 2. So you need at least 8,000 pounds or more if you can find a tire that has that kind of capacity to tow this type of trailer. And the other issue you're going to run into, yep, there's one more thing you have to worry about. I think you might want to buy a dually after I do this video. That's probably what's going to happen. So yeah, you have to worry about, you have to worry about your gross axle weight rating. That's the only other issue you're going to run into. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take your truck. If you buy a single rear wheel, you're going to have to take your truck to a weigh station with your family, your fifth wheel hitch, all your gear that you know you're going to put inside the truck, and you're going to have to get it weighed, because you need to figure out how much weight is going to be on that axle out back. That axle is gonna probably get exceeded. I'm willing to bet you that 80% of guys towing these big trailers with their 1-ton single rear wheels, they're over that axle. I promise you they are. Because the difference on the axle on a single rear wheel versus a dually is like 2,000 pounds. So you get 2,000 additional pounds. On the, you might get more than that, honestly. I have a bad memory, so I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. But the one that I did a review on had like 7,230 pounds. And a dually is gonna have over 9,000 pounds, basically. So with that being said, it might make more sense to look at a dually for this type of trailer. And that way, if you want to do a big solar panel upgrade and have like 10 or 12 battery bank up front and generator, put your washer and dryer up front, because if you put your washer and dryer back here, you're gonna lose probably about what, a foot, probably 2 feet maybe of garage space. So I wouldn't want to put a washer and dryer back here. Something you have to consider. So I think I showed you guys this RV while I was talking. So let me just open up some few things, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the numbers in a spreadsheet, and we're gonna see if this rig can be towed with a single rear wheel. Now I don't even know if it can actually. I'm actually just assuming it can, because 4,700 pounds is a lot of payload. That's a big payload. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at the numbers. So here are the numbers for this toy hauler. So you have a gross vehicle weight rating of 20,000 pounds. You have 3 7,000 pound axles. So they actually cover the entire rig and some. And then you have an unloaded vehicle weight of 15,198. And total cargo carrying capacity is almost 5,000 pounds, but 4,742 pounds. Now this is the truck I was talking about, the 2023 Ford F350. This has the long wheelbase, which means it has the long bed. And it is a low trim level, which is why the payload is kind of high. So when you get the long bed, you get a higher GVWR. And because this has a gas engine, you get max payload, because the gas engine doesn't weigh that much compared to the Power Stroke. So anytime I do a truck review, I always show you the window sticker. Now this truck does have the 430 rear axle. I can show it to you right here. So 430, and again, that's going to give you max tow. Now here's some of the numbers for the axles and payload. So this truck does have a 5,200 pound axle up front, and a 7,230 pound rear gross axle, and then 11,900 pound gross vehicle weight. And here's the payload, 4,760 pounds. Ford does have their towing guide on their website, and they have a really nice layout of everything. So here is for conventional towing. They also have one for fifth wheel, so we're going to use this one basically. And we're going to go down to the 7.3, and remember, the truck that we're looking at has a 430 rear axle, because we're going to need that for max tow. And gross combined weight rating is going to be 29,000 pounds, and then we just have to go down here to the specific truck. So fifth wheel, 8-foot bed, 4-wheel drive. That truck can tow 21,300 pounds. So they have a 1 and a 2 here. So you have to have either this or this to get that number. So we have enough towing capacity, and the gross combined weight rating is going to be 29,000 pounds. We should be under that. And we have enough payload from what we believe, depending on how we load up the truck. I'm on Alliance's website, and I want to show you the numbers that they have here. So what I normally do is I take the hitch weight and divide it into the dry weight that's shown online. That's going to give you 20%. So you can see that this trailer is lighter than the one I just showed you at the dealership, and that's because options and features. Also, propane tanks and batteries are typically not included in the weight, and that's going to obviously increase your hitch weight because those things are up front. You pretty much know how I got all the numbers for the truck and now for the RV. So one thing you have to consider, as I've said in the video a few times, passenger and cargo. These are the things that most people take for granted, because as you saw, the truck has a 4,760 pound payload, right? When you add in your passengers and cargo, that's 705 pounds. Now that's going to come off the payload, and that's what you have left. Now I want you guys to know something. I'm not using a fifth wheel hitch in this scenario. If I was, this would probably be closer to 500 pounds, but I'm going to be using a Gen Y fifth wheel pin box. Let me show that to you really quickly. There are multiple Gen Y pin boxes like this. This is the gooseneck one. This one has a minimum maximum pin weight of 2,500 to 4,500 pounds. But the reason why I choose this in this scenario is because of the weight. So this only weighs 137 pounds. So that's going to save you some weight in the bed. Now let's go ahead and add the weight for the trailer. And I'm talking about the hitch weight. So it's going to be 3,040 pounds. That's basically 20% of this number. So right out of the gate, guys, if you're going down the road with an empty trailer, you will be fine and you have more than enough payload. So obviously we're going to add some weight to the trailer. I'm going to add 4,000 pounds. So that's going to put us at 19,198. And if you multiply that by 21%, now I'm going to use 21% because worst case scenario, you could have a heavier hitch weight. So 21% keeps us safe and keeps us honest. So that's going to be 4,032 pounds. And with that being said, worst case scenario, this could be your hitch weight. If you're using a toy out back, you probably will take some weight off the front. But I would just venture to say worst case scenario, you could have a 4,000 pound hitch weight. So I think this is a perfect trailer if you do not have heavy passengers and heavy cargo. Now I'm assuming a 200 pound male, 135 pound female, and 260 pound kids, and that's where I'm getting my numbers from here. So all in all, this should work if you are looking at this truck. But I hope this was helpful. The only thing I will say is this is the only truck I recommend that you can start looking at trailers over 16,000 pounds. In the past, I said that I wouldn't look at trailers over 15,000 pound GWR with a single rear wheel truck. I think, depending on how you load your truck, as you saw, I think you can go up to about 17 to 18,000 pounds comfortably and still be able to get the generator, still be able to get a few other things. I mean, I'm talking about GWR, I'm not talking about dry weights, I'm talking about gross vehicle weight rating max 16, maybe 17,000. There's some river stones out there that you might be able to tow and not have a problem with. And yeah, I think that the new Ford trucks are doing a great job with their payload. I mean, that's why we buy these trucks anyways. So they should give us as much as possible. But I hope this video was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video.